Hey, so I want to make a quick video on my tornado shot MF character for Total League. Got a lot of questions about this character, and yeah, this is more so an overview than a build guide because it's quite an expensive character. It's roughly about like 5 mirrors or so it's not really a build guide. I do have like a more cheaper variant. It's like only 2 mirrors, but also it's still very expensive. But yeah, I'll just go over the old character, show you why it works and how it works, and why it's like quite tanky despite you not using stuff like Progenesis, right? Compared to other TS characters, we're 3.6k life, which is quite high. Also before Petrified Blood. Compared to a lot of other Channel Shot characters, I don't really like building squishy characters, so I try to make this characters pretty sturdy, so we're not dying every map, which this character does succeed at. Before I got level 100, multiple times, in maps, I got to 30 to 40% EXP before dying, which, if you played Magic Fine, you know that's pretty hard to do. That's pretty rare, level 99. Yeah, it is pretty sturdy. You will still die, but I do like how defensive this character is for a Magic Fine character. So we'll go with the POB. I'll go over the items real quick. The Mirror Bow, the Mirror Quiver, like Sushi, Helmet with Intelligence, go over that later. Reduced Embrace, +1 with Reduced Damage and Crits. I think Reduced Damage and Crits is the best because you do maps with crit chance. So yeah, you can also get 50% increased damage, but yeah, Reduced Damage and Crits I think is most ideal here. Calm Spirit, Attack Crit. If you can get Double Corrupt, I think +1 Frenzy is pretty ideal. There's all this stuff like max life, attack speed, stuff like that, right? Haven't been able to get one yet, but if you're able to get one, go for it. And yeah, boots, same here, double corrupt, life regen while moving, moving speed, max life, all good double corrupts. I'm gonna get one. Once again, this is no double corrupts in the market. I never find one. There's never up. I have to make one myself. That's pretty much the only thing I'm missing from this next build is double corruptions. Yeah, you can't get double corrupts, get them. But yeah, I couldn't really get them. Amulet, Eyes of Great Wolf. Fizz damage is extra damage to random element. I think this is pretty ideal. It allows you to shock pretty consistently. Shock should be enabled actually. The quiver alone really isn't enough. But you can also get multi here. But yeah, with this Eyes of the Great Wolf, you're able to shock consistently. Without this, you can't really shock, so you wouldn't have this enabled. That's why I have it over the crit multi one. But both are good. Get either or. Really good Ventures, obviously, and Headhunter. I think Headhunter is better than Mage Blood this league, specifically because of tattoos. You get able to get move speed. The higher move speed you have, the less reason you need to use Mage Blood, right? Yeah. Headhunter is really strong this league because of how much move speed you can already get. As you can see, 307% move speed without Mage Blood. So yeah, very strong. I prefer Headhunter over Mage Blood heavily this league. Flask, Silver, Jade, Quicksilver, Distilled, and Quartz. As you can see, I don't have Progenesis. I don't think I need it. If I use Progenesis, I probably would almost never die, so it is an option for those that want to use it. Yeah, I don't need it. I valued sub-exclusives on my flask pretty heavily, like 3% regen life, reduced mana cost, movement speed, and rarity. Obviously, rarity is not needed, but not using gold flask, and I still want a little bit of rarity. As you can see here, I am 88% quant, 369% rarity. So yeah, I think my rarity's fine. You can get more if you want, especially on like Casphere Jewel and stuff. But yeah, 80% quant's also quite high. Don't really need any more than that. Don't use stuff like Sedemus over Calm Spirit. Rage this league is extremely strong because of 2 new reasons, which I'll go over next, I guess. Pass the skill tree. So yeah, why we're using Rage, Berserk, and like how we have so much Rage regen, and we have more than shown here. So the first reason is called Arms. You get this with the Journey Tattoo. It's a 1 out of 43 chance, so it can be quite expensive. You can easily go 80 tattoos and not see it. I got on like 28, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, this allows you to use Enduring Cry. And Enduring Cry is 2,000 life regen every 8 seconds. So that's 20 rage regen every 8 seconds, which is essentially 2.2 to 2.3 rage regen. So this rage regen is more like 9.3, and this rage regen is also not counting Heart of Oak right here. So yeah, this is more like 10 rage regen per second we have, which is quite high for an MF character, right? You didn't have those rage numbers for this league unless you're using Vol's Vision. But obviously Vol's Vision is not ideal to use in the endgame setup. Yeah, Quad Arms, really insane. Makes Rage's League a lot better. Also gives you endurance charges, which synergizes quite well with Immortal Call. Yeah, it's also another reason why we're tanky. High Berserk uptime with endurance charges with Immortal Call. All this stuff kind of adds together. I see I don't have Endurance Charges clicked here because it kind of scuffs your like EHP. Like it's not really realistic. You always have these up because you immediately use them as soon as you use a Mortal Call, right? So yeah. But yeah, you do use a Mortal Call with Endurance Charges really often, and that increases the skill effect duration. And you have less elemental and less physical damage taken. Very strong. Another reason why Rage is strong is Rational Doctrine. So before, Rational Doctrine wasn't really usable, and now this league it is. As actually, straight up wasn't usable before for MF characters. The reason for that is for how Rational Doctrine works. You need Strength and Intelligence to be highest, and Dex to be the lowest. So obviously, as a bow character, this wasn't doable before. You always had like 300 plus dexterity, so you never had strength or intelligence that high. It wasn't possible on an MF character, right? But now you can just tattoo all your small dex nodes. So now it is possible. So yeah, Rational Doctrine, what it does, if strength and int is the highest, you get Profane Ground and Consecrated Ground. So Profane Ground gives you 100% crit chance and 10% pen. As you can see here, if we take this off, we lose like 20% damage or something, right? So Profane Ground, very strong, 100% crit chance and 10% elemental pen. A Consecrated Ground gives you 4% life regen and gives you 80% reduced effective curses on you, which is pretty strong in 8 modern maps because you constantly do maps of curses, and this build has no other way to reduce the effect of curses. So yeah, Rational Doctrine is really strong, and how you meet the requirements is Intelligence on Helmet and Strength on Headhunter, and that's it. It's really simple to meet the requirements actually on this build. It's very convenient, not hard at all. If you do have trouble meeting it, you can also try mess around with your small intelligent node, get an intelligence or strength on your cluster jewel, stuff like that, right? Or get an intelligence or strength on your Rational Doctrine itself and implicit, since it rolls with random implicits. So yeah, that's what makes Berserk really strong this league. These two things combined makes you have near 10 rage per second, which POB just doesn't show, but that's fine. As for tattoos, all small tattoos, we're using 2% dexterity in every single one, and then we're using two skills, fire additional projectile, one right here, one right here. Both are really easy to acquire, right? Because you're already speccing into these nodes. So yeah, really strong. These new skills, fire additional projectile. This plus the rage tech actually makes you think this bow build is stronger than last league, despite the bows being worse. Because Berserk plus 2 more projectiles is almost like stronger than the bows we had last league. Maybe it's quite close, but yeah, Berserk gives you less damage taken, of course. It also gives you move speed. That's why I'm using Berserk effect here, because we have really high Berserk uptime. And as you can see with Berserk, you don't know what it does. More damage with attacks, more attack speed, more move speed, less damage taken. These are more multipliers. This multiplies all your stats. So it just should have taken like 25% less damage because the Berserk effect is increasing this even more. We have like 39% more movement speed, which is absolutely insane. And more attack speed, more damage is also nice for damage. You move really fast, and you take less damage, and you do a lot more damage. So yeah, Berserk is absolutely insane. It's probably my strongest MF character ever made, personally. Yeah. I will get a 100% conversion, by the way, if you're not aware, from the quiver. 25% here, 40% here, and the last 35% from Watcher's Eye. Watcher's Eye, all you really need is crit and fizz dance converted. Very expensive. Getting a third prop is also very expensive, but yeah. It's only really to get full converted. Outside of that, the cheaper version I have uses anomalous TS, but yeah. In this version, that's how you get fully converted. Anything else I can go over, I guess, is the skills real quick. So I'm using Awaken Fork, not Awaken Chain. I get this question a lot, why Awaken Fork, right? If you already have +1 chain, from Ricochet, let's say, that's why I get my +1 chain, then you want to use Fork. +1 Fork and +1 chain is more ideal than, let's say, +2 chain. So yeah, use Awaken Fork if you already have chain. If you have no chain, then use Awaken Chain. And also how Fork works, if you don't know, projectiles fork and then chain. So you fork for 2 times, right? Which creates 4 arrows, and all 4 of those arrows can all individually chain. This is why fork plus chain is really strong, especially on a map like Crimson Temple, because you have 30% chance to chain when they collide with terrain. And if Crimson Temple is a pretty it's an indoor map, right? So there's walls everywhere. So your 4 projectiles are constantly hitting walls and then constantly chain off the walls and still hitting enemies. So yeah, use fork plus chain. Don't use chain here. Stronger. Mirage Archer. A Mirage Archer is really strong. Don't drop this, especially with Headhunter. If you get like Soul Eater plus with Mirage Archer up, your Mirage Archer just straight up solos everything. You don't even need to attack. You can just let Mirage Archer kill everything. So yeah, don't drop Mirage Archer. Really insane. You'll play with it yourself and you'll see like how good it is. It may only say like 29% DPS, but it's way more than this because it constantly attacks. Unlike yourself, where your attack moving. So yeah, this is more than 29% DPS essentially because it constantly attacks. Don't drop it. You can use Iron Rarity, and if you were to use Iron Rarity, you would just drop Wed here. We can all damage with attack skills. And then you can't do Elio Fleck maps, but yeah, that's how you would use Item Rarity if you want to use it for more Item Rarity. And then of course, During Cry, Standard Setup, Cyrus Mark on Hit, Life Tap, Blood Rage, Frost Blink, Immortal Call, Cast Never Taken. The reason why I'm using Immortal Call, Cast Never Taken is one, because of Endurance Charges, but two, as you can see, we have a lot of buttons already, essentially, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons, right? So you can use Steel Skin here instead and manually press Steel Skin if you want. And if you do that, you can then use Enhance on Blood Rage and Berserk, as Enhance is quite potent on Berserk and Blood Rage. So that is an option. Yeah, I don't want to press more buttons than I have to, so that's why I'm going with this Cast Never Taken setup. Then, you know, Arrogance, Vitality, Precision, and Aura setup. This Aura setup, only be able to use it because of Awaken level 6, plus 1 from chest. So if you want to like make this even cheaper, like if you're going to build this yourself, go Awaken level 4, right? That's Enlighten level 4, you don't need to Awaken, and then you just drop Dread Banner. That's it. So why are we using Dread Banner? So we're an evasion-based character, and I value evasion pretty heavily on 8-mana maps. So the reason why we are evasion-based is because in 8-mana maps, you usually die from stuff like Fizz Extra Fire, Lightning, or Cold, right? Very common map mod, and very common altar mod. Very common to see this on like 2 altars in your map. You get to the point of taking 300 to 4% Fizz Extra elements, like you should get one shot. Armor doesn't do anything versus that. Health's like not gonna help. So the only thing that counters it is max res or evasion. Spell suppression does not work versus it because it's an attack. So yeah, you can't really get max res on this build. Not really possible on MF characters. But evasion is possible. So that's the only thing that really helps versus that Fizz Extra, you know, Fire, Cold, or Lightning. So I value evasion pretty highly for 8-mana maps. Yeah, we get evasion from Grace, our Flask, and Dread Banner. So Dread Banner, if you don't know how it works, it reduces enemy's accuracy, and that increases your chance to evade. As you can see, we go from 64% to 71%, which is effectively like 25% more chance to evade. In other words, this is like 25% less damage taken versus attacks. Really, really strong for 10% mana, right? Like essentially, you're getting a 25% DR equivalent for 10% mana reservation. Dread Banner is really, really insane. I try to use this in every single evade build I can. Always use it, essentially, if you're able to, as long as you have evasion. If you don't have evasion, Dread Banner doesn't really do that much. So yeah, that's why I'm using Dread Banner. It's very insane. I wish I could use like Awaken Generosity with it, but I don't have the gem links in this build. Yeah, that's it for the gem links and the gear. I guess the only thing you can really go over is maybe some jewels. So Ricochet, we're using with Forbidden Flesh, Forbidden Flame. You can use any of the Deadeye notables here. Any of them work. We're using this 12 passive Large Cluster. This is how you fix Chaos Res in this build. So we don't need Progenesis. If you don't have this, you probably have to use Progenesis to fix your Chaos Res. I think whatever cold conversion already. And using this Timeless Jewel, it's not that strong. Proj damage, it's a pretty strong node. 1 rarity node, and power charge on crit. Once again, we lack gem sockets, and this is the only way to get power charges. You see, without power charges, you lose quite a bit of damage. Like, what is that, like 14% damage or something? So yeah, I have to pretty much use this, and there's really no good Timeless Jewel that has both power charge and rarity here. You can also drop the rarity and get another damage node. Also not a bad idea. You don't need this exact jewel. You can get like other combinations and stuff, right? So yeah. You could also drop this Thread of Hope. Not needed at all. You can get a Warrior's Tail here to still get +1 proj, and you just don't get this one. And with those 2 extra points, you could put more points into this Timeless Jewel. So you could get, let's say, like Fist damage, you get a rarity node, you can get multi, right? All strong nodes. So yeah, you could also do that from the option, but this is the Timeless Jewel I went with. And of course, another Thread of Hope, mana reservation, just life nodes, really strong Thread of Hope placements. But this one's not needed. I am using it. But yeah, I think that's about it. Full build. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. If you do want to see gameplay, I do have a full map showcase video from like 6 days ago or so. This one right here. So yeah, if you want to see a map showcase, see how like fast it is, how it plays, how much damage it has, whatever. Yeah, I didn't want to show in the video because it's already quite long, but I'll link down below. And yeah, that's about it. I do stream on Twitch, so if you want to watch, feel free to come by. If you have any comments, questions, just leave a comment below.